The motherfucker is taking a shit ton of money from the American people using those damn tariffs. They're still collecting taxes. They're shutting down our infrastructure projects. Things that are supposed to be for, like, flood control. Solar programs have been shut down. Agriculture is taking a major blow. The economy's being destroyed. And the motherfucker who is tearing down the White House illegally during a government shutdown is stockpiling weapons and building his own separate paramilitary. And also putting our military in secrecy by not allowing the Congress to communicate. No communication between the Congress and the Pentagon. And this motherfucker's taken all of our money. Certainly appears to me that he's deliberately trying to harm Americans. The White House is being torn down. And they're mobilizing against the American people. I'm 38. I've done what I can to try and collect as much of my records as possible. My life on this planet has been nothing but an ongoing nightmare. I know that there's good people out there, but my family is not a single person, I don't think. Well, maybe one of my cousins, two of my cousins. I'll say two of my cousins came out okay. But my experience so far has just been nothing but horrible rottenness, and the things and shitty behavior that I have seen out of people in my time here. I just cannot help but be of the mindset that America is nothing but a cesspool of barbarism. I'm trying to take legal action because my mom, when I was a child, was beating the ever-living shit out of me on a consistent basis and lying to the police and lying to medical providers, and then it ultimately resulted in me winding up in a coma because I was ordered to do therapy with this therapist that was peddling drugs. I'm assuming she was taking bribes. And I wound up in a coma from that shit. And I'm trying to do something about it. You know, I came out of my teen years suffering from amnesia of a sort. Walking amnesia is what it's called in layman's terms. I think it's referred to as retrograde amnesia. Lived on the streets because I don't have anybody who's worth a shit for family to really rely on. Barely start getting my shit together, try dating, and find out that the men are just doing nothing but trying to steal from the women and ruin women's lives. So, you know, I try to build a life for myself and still have nothing. You know, I have barely anything and still have people trying to take shit from me. And now I'm living with a mentally ill veteran that I am unfortunately related to, and I'm learning that he's just, in my opinion, a horrible person. And I'm just dealing with ongoing abuse and being treated like an animal and like I'm not a person by someone who is much less educated and can barely fucking function, who's drinking his brains out. And this has been my life. And when I try to get records in regards to what is happening with, you know, what took place when I was a juvenile, I'm finding that a lot of these records get destroyed. And so for me, I feel like there's a need to advocate for children's rights. You know, the United States is one of the very, very, very few countries on the planet that has failed to ratify the UN Treaty on the Rights of a Child, as well as on the rights of women, CEDAW. And these people who are put in a position where they're allowed to have all the reward in society that steal from others to survive are nothing to me but horrible, stupid, and violent animals. We live in the country that has the most people going missing on the entire planet, and 50% of murders go unresolved. This place is a shithole. A large chunk of the population, I would say roughly about 1/3, are nothing more than barbarians, in my opinion. I see America as nothing more than a bunch of dumb apes that live on entitlement, that hardly understand the world around them, and create destruction and pain. I'm having a very hard time seeing anything good here. I know that there's good people out there. But how do we get something better out of where we're at right now when the president is stockpiling weapons, hurting the American people, destroying the economy, robbing us all blind, and stockpiling weapons while dispatching a paramilitary? And will national security ever actually matter if it has gotten this bad? At what point does national security matter? At what point does our military defend the people of the United States from what certainly appears to be a foreign adversary that has gotten into our very shitty, worthless system of governance? Because I'm an adult and my life is fucked, and a large chunk of that is because of other people not having control over themselves, and our system of governance being nothing more than an utter failure. Obviously, the rights that I thought I had do not exist. But where do we go from here? There's a lot of things that need to be done. There's a lot of things that need to improve. I think that adult victims of childhood abuse ought to have the right to take action on the things that they experienced. You know, I'm in a situation where I almost died, and I should have every right to say that what was done to me is not okay, and hold the corporation that created that situation accountable. And I would really like it if I'd be able to hold my mom and the associated police departments accountable. And I think that this county needs to be criminally investigated, the whole fucking system of governance in this county. But if it's that bad, I mean, are things ever going to get better? Is it always just going to be this nightmarish shithole that we fucking live in? Because that's what America really seems to me to be. And other than that, the people who are allowed to have things, to me, are nothing but thieves, barbarians, unintelligent, violent fucking apes. And that is also what I see MAGA as. A bunch of barbaric, chest-beating, stupid fucking apes that don't understand shit around them, and everything they touch turns to shit. I think life should be better than this, personally. I think that people should be allowed to have peace and enjoy things and live their lives uninterrupted. It's a damn shame that these savage barbarians are allowed to get away with so much, you know. It's not good for the human species. It's not good for anybody. There's all these studies about the negative psychological impacts of these abusive environments, and alcoholism and drug abuse and violence. But yet, for some reason in America, this is how the American people apparently want to live. And so then I will say with that my outlook on the future is not optimistic. And watching this country be destroyed and thinking about the prospects of a foreign adversary attacking, which is most likely what's going to happen. If this is what the president is doing, he's making us incredibly vulnerable to attack, and I think he's colluding with Russia, and so then I would assume that we're probably going to get attacked by Russians at some point. Are we able to stand up for something better? Are we able to stand up for our independence? And are we able to make anything better for ourselves? Or is this all there is? Other than that, I just think it's a damn fucking shame. It's like, what is the point in not harming people in a system that does nothing but reward those who hurt others? I'm having a very hard time understanding that. I mean, I personally don't want to live like that. Like, I believe in morals and having values. But what I am seeing is that, the American way is that people steal from each other and get away with it. They physically harm each other and get away with it. They murder each other and get away with it. They kidnap each other and get away with it. And they do horrible things to children. And that is my perspective of what America is, and I think it's a very sad and horrible place.